Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about some of the things that you should buy when you're starting off as a DJ. Let's get started. Alright, so the first tip is start getting your music ready. So what I mean is the music should be like the DNA of your style. So even before any equipment, you should start investing in your music because that's going to be the most important thing in your arsenal. An example would be start purchasing from DJ pools, start contacting artists that you like so you can get DJ packs and any other way that you could get music. Start saving that music and building your playlist because later on you won't have to deal with hours and hours and hours of curating music. So get that hard drive, that external hard drive, and they're really cheap, so they're probably like $50-$60 for like 2-4 terabytes, and start filling that up with music. Alright, the second thing you can do is start with an inexpensive controller. So nowadays they have a lot of smaller controllers that are really inexpensive, and you can get started as low as like $250, maybe even cheaper if it's used, which maybe you should actually get used because you don't want to start on something too fancy. So I would recommend something like a DDJ SV3 or the DDJ 400 from Pioneer. Those are good controls to start off with because they're nothing too fancy, and really all you want to get familiar is with blending and mixing and just start to beat match. So those are pretty good starter kits. The third thing I would recommend is get your speakers ready. So before, when I used to DJ, I used to do the passive speakers, which is basically a speaker without any power. So you would have to connect that into an amplifier, and then that amplifier to other components like crossovers and mixer boards and whatnot. It was just too much. And now they have powered speakers. I mean, they've been out for a while, but power speakers are the way to go because all you have to do is connect the speaker to the power and one XLR or whatever connection type to your mixer board or wherever the source is going to be playing from, and voila, that's it. And also another benefit of having powered speakers is that you'll be reducing the amount of equipment you're taking because you're only taking a speaker and not a speaker and an amplifier. There's other benefits for passive systems, but if you're starting off, I would recommend powered speakers just because they're simpler to work with and they're just a lot more portable and easier just to carry around. I actually started with the Mackie SRM 450s, I believe, can't remember. They're like these gray looking heavy ass power speakers. I mean, back then they were pretty heavy, but they've gotten a lot lighter, and I remember purchasing the SRM series when it got a little lighter. I think it got like a dark, really navy dark color on the speaker. That was like the newer one. It was lighter, and then I transitioned over to QSC, to the K12s, and that was my next thing that I would suggest, the QSC K12s or the K2.2s or something like that, version 2s. Either or, those two are pretty good. So those are basically just 12-inch cones, and those speakers are pretty good for like small to medium events. Don't expect too much low end on those because they work overall all the frequencies, and you won't get as much lows as you would like to. But if you want to introduce a little more bass in it, that's where you want to go with the KW181 or the new KS118. Those are really good subs that complement the K12s, and honestly, just adding one of those subs to your two K12s is going to be plenty for most of the events you're going to do. Obviously, we're not talking about huge gyms or open events where it's out in the park or something. It's not going to be really loud, but if it's at a small venue, maybe 100 people or so, that's going to be more than enough. All right, fourth thing you want to get on the list is lighting. And I know lighting is really crucial, but I know when you're starting, you can't really afford too much. And I know because I've been there, and I remember buying like a American DJ, one of those crazy little lights that have a bunch of colors in it, and it's like shooting colors everywhere. I don't know, it might have been like $60, $80, and honestly that got me through a lot of gigs, and I was able to invest that in even more lighting. I would say start with something like that. You know, a DJ or Chave they have tons of lights similar to that. Maybe like a Stinger, or you could do Power RGBs, which are just little up lights that change lighting. They have like sequences and effects. You could also invest in a gig bar. I think Chave has one of those, and those are pretty cool because you just put them on a tripod. Have a bunch of different fixtures on that bar, so it's kind of like all in one. And honestly, I think one of those, if you start off with one of those, you'd be pretty much set for a little bit, and until you could invest in more higher end lighting. Last but not least, we're gonna talk about presentation. I know this should be probably in the very first, but the first things you should get are always something that'll get your foot in the door, so you can start mixing in front of people and have people start listening to your mixes. So this is the last one in the list, but it's really important. So you should get like something like a facade. You should invest in some scrims for like your tripods, scrims for your trussing if you upgraded to trussing, and even a custom built DJ table that's taking it definitely up a notch. And those are really nice, presentable. They look really clubby, really like you're serious about DJing, and you spent some money on it. So those are some of the things as far as presentation. Obviously, you want to look groomed and well dressed the day of. If it's a wedding, you want to make sure you have, you know, your suit with your tie or whatever. And if it's a more casual, nice little polo, whatever the occasion is, make sure you're dressed appropriately, and just make sure to give the best performance and best customer service you can. Well, that's it for today. I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you did, please like and share, and don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram at DJLive408. To the next one.